Uh, Good evening and good morning and good afternoon to wherever you are in the world. And first of all, we are very sorry for the delay in getting this Hangout started. We were facing some technical difficulties. So without much further ado, we will jump into an opening message with Professor Anand Kumar, and then we'll jump into the questions. We are short on time, so we're trying to catch up with that. With that, I hand over the floor to Professor Sir.
Thank you so much. As it was suggested, there was some technical problem and a bit of breakdown of electricity as it rained very heavily in Gurgaon this evening. I just tell you briefly 2 points and then we start conversation. One, that the first public mobilization by Swaraj Abhiyan is about to mature. The tractor yatra, which began on 1st of August from Tekriwal in Barnala, has covered nearly 500 kilometers and has completed UP. Tomorrow it comes to Meerut and then enters Haryana. Rally will be on 10th of August and nearly 50 peasant organizations have joined our initiative. So it is a win-win situation in terms of expanding efforts to reach the people and promote alternative politics. The second point is about Swaraj Abhiyan. It has completed its first 100 days, and in these 100 days we have identified 4 areas of our important engagements. First, as I said, is about Jai Kisan Andolan. It's about the crisis of agricultural communities, particularly peasants and agriculture dependent artisans, landless laborers, tenant cultivators, fisheries people, people engaged in poultry, milk business, horticulture. Second issue which we have underlined is Aman committees, because there are a number of flashpoints in our country today about Hindu-Muslim questions, and we got to do something about it to be proactive and preventive. The third area which has become our important responsibility is promoting an All India forum, which is to be led by Sri Prashant Bhushan, to encourage PIL and RTI activism so that we are all active and concerned citizens in our own way. And finally, we have also initiated Shiksha Swaraj, because from undergraduate to postgraduate, from KG to PG, education is getting more and more messy. The government-sponsored institutions are suffering, in a way, decline of standards, and private institutions are of a very uneven variety. So there is need to engage on the educational front in the light of right to education related developments and the challenges of creating a knowledge economy in our country. Friends, in the last 100 days, you have all given us your attention and interest. We invite you now to get a little more closer to Swaraj Abhiyan and make it a worthwhile initiative. Now, I'll be very happy to take your questions. Given the time shortage, I'll try to keep my answers short.
Thank you, Professor G. The first and the most common question which has come in from quite a few people is including Sanjeev from Maharashtra. He wants to know how Swaraj Abhiyan would be different from AAP. When will the primary membership of Swaraj Abhiyan will start on the ground?
It is a very important concern. We have tried to make it as institutional oriented and as little individual oriented as possible, because the cult figure gets promoted when you ignore institutional well-being and you don't institutionalize rules and processes and you individualize everything. And as it happens more and more in election competitions. So we have decided that we will not have any sloganeering of living people. You think about Mahatma Gandhi, Dr. Ambedkar, Bhagat Singh, fine, but not any one of us or any one of you. Second, we have created a dialogue about Constitution of Aam Aadmi Party and made it better, and now it is on website for everybody to comment, even those who are not in Swaraj Abhiyan. Membership is to begin from 15th August and drive will be up to 30th September in the first go, so that with a gap of 3 months we can create elected committees, which was a missing link in the Aam Aadmi Party days, between volunteers and the organization building. The other thing which is going to be a little different is to have a well-documented perspective approach, which is new agenda for India. It is also now in a draft paper shape, and you're all invited to look at it and make it as engaged a conversation as possible. So the other missing feature of Aam Aadmi Party was no perspective, no vision, bijli pani and vote do, jadu. It was so simple. It is not easy to have renewal of faith in democracy and make it better unless we are guided by a policy framework. So that is also going to be a new development, and I hope that these three things are going to make it different, and your effort and your concern should be there so that we make more improvements and make it as foolproof as possible.
So that leads into the next question, जो हिंदी में है. उन्होंने लिखा, शशि जी का ये सवाल है, शशि जी दिल्ली से है. उनका सवाल ये है, सर वर्तमान की दिल्ली सरकार यहाँ की जनता की उम्मीदों पर खरी नहीं उतर आई. स्वराज अभियान किस तरह दिल्ली जनता की सेवा करेगी? दिल्ली के लिए क्या योजना है?
हमने ये सोचा है शशि जी कि स्वराज अभियान को चुनाव के साथ अपनी सेवा के वायदों को उतना नहीं जोड़ना चाहिए जितना और पार्टियां करती थीं, और अब आम आदमी पार्टी ने भी कर डाला है. हम इसकी जगह स्वराज केंद्र की स्थापना करना चाहते हैं. 272 वार्ड दिल्ली में हैं, और अगर 272 स्वराज केंद्र 1,70,00,000 के बीच में बन जाएंगे तो वो हमारे लिए वोट हो ना हो, एमएलए जीते या हारे, सक्रिय सामूहिक सहयोग का आधार बनेगा. और उसके जरिए हम एक तरफ तो रोज रोज के सवालों पर योगदान कर सकेंगे और दूसरी तरफ साथियों के बीच में चरित्र निर्माण, नेतृत्व निर्माण और नागरिकता निर्माण का भी काम कर सकेंगे. तो अब हम एमएलए बनाओ और तब सेवा पाओ की बजाय स्वराज केंद्र स्थापित करो और खुद उसका संचालन करो जैसे रास्ते की तरफ चल रहे हैं. दूसरा, जहां तक आम आदमी पार्टी की सरकार की गतिविधियों का सवाल है, किसी भी सरकार को कम से कम 6 महीने का समय मिलना चाहिए. हमने भी यही तय किया था. अब 6 महीने का पूरा होने में कोई 1.5 महीने का समय बाकी है, और तब तो हमको असेसमेंट और डायलॉग और विजिलेंस की ड्यूटी करनी ही पड़ेगी. लेकिन खाली आम आदमी पार्टी का नहीं, हम म्युनिसिपैलिटी चला रही बीजेपी और केंद्र सरकार चला रही सांसदों को भी लोगों के साथ मोहल्ला संवाद में बुलाने का काम शुरू करेंगे.
Next question is from Suman Sur, again from Delhi. He asks, I understand Swaraj Abhiyan believes in both electoral and alternate politics. However, in recent years, there has been systemic corrosion of public institutions, including parliament. The pace of corrosion has increased with the establishment of the new government in Delhi. Taking this into consideration, what will be Swaraj Abhiyan's strategy to combat this in respect to other political parties and alternate politics?
Well, alternative politics requires focus on not vote bank building, which is the essential challenge for any political party which is interested in routine politics of today. We have to move beyond vote bank politics, and that's where you have to talk about citizens' politics, as if every citizen matters. In our case, we are trying to initiate a process through which we are having all the 4 responsibilities in a convergence. First responsibility is to have a vision to guide your political interventions. New Agenda for India is going to be a comprehensive document to fulfill that requirement. Second is to have a volunteer training program so that we are clear about why we are in social work, why we are in political work, why we are in election, and why we are in agitation. It should not be a command-based army-like structure. It should be guided by the conscience and convictions of our collectivity, which is volunteers. Third is to focus on programs of priority. As I said, at the moment for rural India, we have Jai Kisan Andolan. For urban people and for national unity, we are talking about Aman committees. To promote RTI activism and PIL-based interventions, we are going to have an anti-corruption forum from district to national level. And fourthly, we have to focus as much as possible about the challenges of Shiksha Swaraj.
The next question is from Dhruv Mukherjee from Chhattisgarh. His question is, greetings to you, sir. Please guide me on how I can prepare a roadmap to explain the value of land to the poor and illiterate people so that they will not be fooled by the so-called netas. Because most of the MLAs, MPs and ministers are doing brainwashed of these poor people. How will they accept our thoughts?
That's a very serious challenge because if you take a short-term view, you feel as if this land is an asset, let us sell it and find an urban heaven. Go and find a non-agricultural occupation. And this is where you have to give them examples of pre-existing communities of dispossessed people. The cases where people have lost land and gained only poverty. Secondly, you have to also explain the requirements of entry into the modern labor market, where unless you have good high education, capacity to migrate around, the job market is not welcoming people with very low education and by and large capacity of manual labor. It's only agriculture and rural economy which allows you your traditional skills and your traditional knowledge irrespective of school and college education. So for tribal India, you have to give them a comparative picture. You have to also give them an understanding of the requirements of entry and exit into modern economy, modern occupational opportunities, because otherwise there is certainly no way to overcome the propaganda of corporate and the government where they give you a rosy picture whereas it is a very big dark hole.
The next question is from uh, the name is not very clear, but it's from someone in Jharkhand. He's very pleased that you and the rest of the Swaraj Abhiyan team have taken the steps that you have taken to start Swaraj Abhiyan and the different andolans within. And his question to you is, I belong to Chhatra in Jharkhand and from a very poor family. He completed his BTech in 2015, but he's still waiting for his last year scholarship for 2013-2014 to come in. Scholarships is his only financial support, and he says this problem is not only with him, but with lots of students in his area. His request is, why does not Swaraj Abhiyan arise and take this issue up?
I'm very happy that you feel positive about Swaraj Abhiyan initiatives from as far away as Jharkhand. You are putting it to our knowledge now. Please send your details and relevant documents in a scan form or through a postal envelope, and we'll certainly do our part as far as possible. If need be, we'll take the RTI and PIL route, and you should be assured that we will be walking as far as you and your group of victims are willing to go.
The next question is from Rajesh in Uttarakhand. He says, India is one of the youngest country and the youth have a lot of problems. Don't you think that the youth should start the biggest revolution of a youthful nation that has not been seen till date?
Well, the idea of youth revolution is not new. There was a Young India movement in the colonial times led by Sri Aurobindo and Yugantar in Bengal. There were Young Turks. There was Young Italy movement. There was, of course, the movement of youth power in Assam. There was JP movement, which was by and large a youth protest and youth revolt. But the idea of revolution requires revolution for what? And change from where to where. You have to look at the values, institutions and processes. You have to develop their critique, share it with larger youth community, create organizational framework and a network of fellow travelers, and then probably you can move for change. Yes, I agree with the basic thrust of your question that the situation has become unbearably incorrect so far as Young India is concerned, and they must create a roadmap so that there is togetherness beyond caste, communities, and regions, because otherwise the idea of young India is very amorphous. It's deeply divided internally on gender lines, caste lines, communal lines, and of course regional lines. So you got to think about the principles of youth unity, and then the future is yours.
अगला सवाल विपिन जी का है दिल्ली से। उनका सवाल यह है, कुछ गलत मानसिकता के लोग भी स्वराज अभियान से जुड़ रहे हैं। कुछ लोग जो ना आप में नेता बन पाए, ना बीजेपी में ना बन पाए, ना बाप में, वो लोग भी स्वराज अभियान को एक अपॉर्चुनिटी मान रहे हैं। अगर वैसे लोग प्रमोट होते हैं तो निस्वार्थ वॉलंटियर्स का मनोबल गिरेगा। आप लोग इस चीज पे चेक कैसे रखेंगे?
नहीं, ये आपका बहुत अच्छा सवाल है। पहली अच्छी बात तो हमारे लिए है कि आसपास में भी कोई चुनाव होने वाला नहीं है। जो भी स्वराज अभियान में आएगा, जैसे अभी मैं आया हूँ, तो मुझे पिछले 3 महीने में एक पैर रेल में और एक पैर घर में रखने की मजबूरी हो गई है। और हमारे वॉलंटियर्स को अपने कस्बे में पिछले 1.5 महीने में अपने गांव जाने के लिए कहा गया। अभी जब सांप्रदायिक सद्भाव का काम शुरू होगा तो हमको उन जगहों पर जाना होगा जहां हिंदू और मुसलमानों के बीच में गलतफहमियां फैलाने वाले लोग हैं। शिक्षा स्वराज में गरीबों को पढ़ाने से लेकर के खुद अच्छी पढ़ाई करना होगा। बहुत ऐसे काम करने होंगे साथी, जिसमें जो सत्ता की तलाश में हमारे पास आ रहे हैं या स्वराज अभियान से जुड़ रहे हैं, उनको निराशा ही हाथ मिलेगी। हाँ, जो चरित्र निर्माण के लिए और राष्ट्र निर्माण दोनों को साथ साथ चलाने के लिए आना चाहते हैं, उनको यहाँ ढेर सारे अच्छे लोगों की टीम और सहयोग मिलेगा।
So the next question, and there's quite a few questions which are on similar nature. So I would appreciate if you cover that in bilingual, in Hindi and English. So the basic gist of the question from Ravi Kesh of Ghaziabad is, क्या स्वराज अभियान सिर्फ किसान आंदोलन बनकर रह जाएगा?
नहीं, आपको ये देखना है, जैसा मैंने अभी पहले कहा था, कि हम 4 प्रश्नों पर बारी बारी से काम करना शुरू कर चुके हैं। एक में प्रोफेसर योगेंद्र यादव और राज्य के स्तर के किसान नेताओं की मदद से काम अब करीब करीब पहले चरण में पूरा हो रहा है, और उससे हम ग्रामीण भारत जो 65% आपका देश है उससे जुड़ता है। लेकिन शिक्षा का सवाल ऐसा है जो शहर और गांव दोनों को जोड़ रहा है। लड़का लड़की दोनों पढ़ाई के लिए परेशान हैं, और माता पिता और शिक्षक भी इसमें जुड़ेंगे। फिर जो भ्रष्टाचार है, जो आपके नुक्कड़ से लेकर के राष्ट्र की संसद तक फैला हुआ है, वो तो सबको जोड़ने वाला है। इसलिए आपकी ये आशंका उचित होते हुए भी इसके लिए आपको परेशान नहीं होना है। हम रोज रोज की जीवन की समस्याओं के लिए स्वराज केंद्र भी स्थापित कर रहे हैं। तो एक तरफ स्वराज केंद्र और दूसरी तरफ किसानों का सवाल, सांप्रदायिक एकता का सवाल, शिक्षा का सवाल और भ्रष्टाचार से लड़ने के लिए साथियों की एकता का रास्ता, ये कुल मिलाकर के काफी व्यापक बनेगा।
Next question is from Pradeep from Bengaluru. He asked, does Swaraj Abhiyan identify issues of farmers which can be achieved immediately and which would make a difference to the farmers? He is hinting at low-hanging fruits. And second, when we raise hopes in farmers because they trust us, we should not let them down. So we should promise what is achievable.
Yes, I agree with you. We have at the moment 3 immediately achievable demands. One of them is nearly mature, and that is, please do not push for land appropriation or land acquisition amendment bill. And it looks that the government is developing some understanding of the ground realities and is retreating from its insistence. The second one is to present a bill for minimum income guarantee for the farmer, so that at least 15,000 rupees per month for an average household in rural India is achievable, which is very close to what the government of India offers to its chaprasis or class 4 employees, which is 16,500 rupees. And the third is to rationalize the disaster related relief system. It is there in urban India, fairly well laid out around insurance systems, but in rural India it is about the whims and fancies of the politicians, where the peasants are rather helpless and resourceless. Now, to go further, we have a clear understanding that much of present problem is around state government. So after this central national rally, we will be encouraging friends to go to the state level. And then, of course, in large states like UP and Maharashtra and Bihar, there are zonal problems. So we got to go from the local to national and again back from national to provincial and district level present issues.
So I'm moving on to the last question from Samir of Thana in Maharashtra. Now, with the successful culmination of the Kisan March to Parliament on the 10th of August, how do you see the roadmap of Swaraj Abhiyan from there? I would also like you to end this with making a closing statement because we're running short on time.
Well, we have to have a membership campaign now. The good thing which Kisan Abhiyan, Jai Kisan Andolan has done is to open us up to partnership with a variety of peasant organizations and individuals who are interested in holistic change in India's political economy, starting with rural political economy. Second, now we will go to people with a good positive image of proactive organization. Earlier we were called AAP rebels or people expelled from AAP. Now, as you rightly said, we are associated with Peasant India and hopefully we will be associated with Communal Harmony, which is national unity, and Shiksha Swaraj and Anti-Corruption Activist Network. The closing statement, well, let us wait for your response. Please get connected. The connection point will be 11466666662. This will immediately put you in the network of Swaraj Abhiyan supporters and sympathizers. Please visit our website for the document about new agenda for India. Give your criticism. Please look at our draft constitution. That will be another contribution by you to make a very solid constitution for a foolproof promotion of alternative politics. Finally, friends, whether you join our website or not, whether you look at our efforts or not, but please don't give up your dream of a better India, because unless we dream, how we will change. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor Sir. And just to repeat the number is to join. Give us a call, missed call on 011 4666 6662. That's 4666 6662. 6 times 6. Thank you, Professor Anand, for taking the time today and sharing.
Not so well, and still you conducted it very well. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.